What if I told you that inside every woman's mind, there are hidden 9 of them to be exact. Weaknesses so powerful that if you learn how to recognize and use them, you'll never look at attraction the same way again. Most men never figure this out, but you, by the end of this video, will understand exactly how women think, what makes them tick, and how you can flip these 9 secret points to your. Hi, my name is Amelia, and welcome back to Dark Psychology today. I'm going to break down the 9 hidden weaknesses every man must know. If wants to understand women on a deeper This isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding human behavior. And when you truly understand how women think, you can create tech connections that are stronger, deeper, and far more magnetic than anything fake or forced. So, grab your seat, listen carefully, and let's dive straight into weakness number 1. The power of contrasting personality. Most men think they need to have juiced-own solid personality. Strong.com, confident, maybe funny, but here's the women get bored fast. If she feels like she has you completely figured out, her brain stops obsessing about you. That's why you need contrast. Think of it as showing 2 sides of the same coin. If you're usually calm and composed, surprise her one day with something playful and spontaneous. Imagine this. You're walking down the street together, and suddenly a random song blasts from a car speaker. Without warning, you start dancing completely out of nowhere. She frees for a second, thinking, wait, isn't this guy usually so serious? Who is he really? And that's the exact reaction you want. Because the moment a girl starts asking questions about you in her head, you've won her attention. Her curiosity is shocked, and she starts thinking about you when you're not even around. If you're always strong, she eventually believes you're forcing it. But when you show that you can be strong and playful, kind and mischievous, calm and wild, sees you as real, mysterious, and Pro tip, women are drawn to men who feel unpredictable in a good way. Contrast keeps her guessing, and guessing keeps her interested. Now, that was just the first weakness. And already, you can see how small changes in your personality can completely shift though she sees you. But what if I told you that you can actually make her think about you all night long with just one simple sentence? That's weakness number 2. 2. Talk to her about someone who looks different from her. Now, listen carefully because this one is powerful. One of the biggest weaknesses in women's. From the moment she wakes up, her mind is constantly creating stories, imagining scenarios, analyzing tiny details. And you can use this natural tendency to make her think about you for hours, maybe even days. Here's how. When you're talking to her, casually bring up a woman who looks completely opposite to her. Example, if she has black hair, you could say, Gauk no. Back when I worked at XYZ company, there was this blonde girl who always impressed me. Or maybe you mention a famous blonde actress you admire. Now, here's the trick. Don't make it obvious. Don't stare at her and say, oh, blondes are better. That's needy and direct. Instead, let it slip into conversation actually, as if you're just telling us. What happens next? When she's at night, lying in bed, she'll replay that moment. Her thoughts will spiral. Why did he mention that blonde girl? Does he prefer blondes? Am I not attractive enough? Should I dye my hair? See what's happening? With just one casual comment, you've planted a thought that she can't shake off. And the more Ash thinks about you, the more her emotional attachment grows. Remember, this attraction isn't built in theme, it's built in the hours she spends thinking about you when you're in net there. 3. Don't be afraid to criticize her. Now, let's flip the script a little. Most guys are terrified of criticizing a woman. They think if I say so, but the truth, the opposite, is. Imagine this. She lights a cigarette next to you. Instead of staying silent, you wave the smoke away and say, don't blow that at me. Yes, it might feel rude in the moment, but there's the psychology. To her, that small act screams confidence. It shows the hour, not afraid to stand your ground. It proves you have standards, and that instantly makes you more attractive. Of course, you don't want to criticize her. The key is to be thoughtful. Example, if she wears something that doesn't look good, say, that outfit doesn't really suit you. Or if she takes a bad photo, say, that picture didn't turn out great. Harris' secret. Criticism makes your compliments valuable. Think about it. If someone tells you every single day, you're smart, you're smart, you're smart, eventually those words lose meaning. But if someone who never compliments you suddenly says, wow, you're actually really smart, it's different, doesn't it? Women feel the exact same way. When you criticize, sometimes your compliments become rare, and rare things are always more. Pro tip, don't avoid criticism out of fear. Use it wisely because when she earns your compliments, she'll treasure them more than anything. Now, this brings us to the next weakness. A subtle one. Most men completely overlook that. What if I told you that pointing out what she's not good at could actually make her obsess over you? That's exactly what we'll dive into with weakness number 4. 4. Talk to her about something she's not good at. This one's subtle, but trust me, it works like every woman has something she's not great at. Maybe she can't cook, maybe she's bad at directions, or maybe she struggles with sports. Whatever it is, you can use it to your advantage. Here's how. Let's say she once told you she doesn't know how to cook. Don't jump on it immediately. Instead, wait. Then, during another conversation casually say, you know what? I really admire women who can cook. But here's the key. Don't look at her directly. Don't bother on the spot. Just let it slip naturally into the flow of conversation. What happens later when she's alone? That small sentence will echo in her mind. She think, he admires women who can cook and I can't. Did I just lose points with him? Should I try to see the power here? You've triggered her natural desire to earn your approval. And the more she thinks about you, the more invested she. Remember, your goal isn't to talk her. It's to plant seeds that make her think about you when you're not. That's where attraction grows. 5. Share your weakness with her. Now, this might surprise you because most men try to hide their weaknesses thinking it will make them look weak. But here's the psychology twist. When you admit your weakness first, you actually look more confident. Example. Let's say if you go out and she sees you stumbling on the dance floor, she'll think, wow, this guy is clueless, beautif. You tell her beforehand, by the way, I can't dance at all, so don't laugh when I try. Suddenly, you flip the script. Instead of seeing you as weak, she sees you as confident enough to admit it. Authentic because you're not human, which makes your. But here's the real kicker. When you admit a weakness, you activation of the biggest female triggers. Empathy. Women are naturally empathetic. It's in their psychology to care, to nurture, to want to help. That's why even toxic sometimes win women over. They pull on thought empathy string. But let me be clear. I don't recommend using pity that's short-term and it'll backfire. Instead, mix your vulnerability with strength. Be the guy who can say, yeah, I suck at dancing, but I don't care. I'll still do it. And here's a bonus. If you're ever sick or you need help, don't hesitate to ask her. Something simple like, hey, could you grab some medicine for me? Dismal request taps into her nurture. When she takes care of you, even in little ways, her attachment to you deepens. Pro tip. Vulnerability is not weakness. When used correctly, it makes you more magnetic because it balances your strength with authenticity. Now, we've talked about showing strength, contrast, and even admitting your weaknesses. But what if I told you that sometimes the most attractive thing you can do is actually lose control around her? Let's talk about that in weakness number 6.6. Show her that you lose control. Sometimes most men believe they always need to look composed, strong, and in control 100% of the time. And yes, but here's the paradox. Women are also deeply attracted when you let go of control just a little. Think about it. You're usually calm, collected, confident, but then she does something unexplicate. Maybe she laughs in a certain way or she looks amazing in an and instead of keeping your cool, you suddenly hug her, pull her close, or touch her hand without. In that moment, you show her that she has an effect on you. That you're spontaneous, not robotic. That behind your strong exterior, there's a man who can get swept away by her. Timing is everything. Don't do this on the first date. Don't rush into it when you just met her. Save this for when you've built some comfort. Then drop the guard for just a second and let her feel your raw reaction. Why does this work? Because it shows her you're a human, not a machine. And more importantly, it prevents you from being stuck in the friend zone. When she sees that, you lose control around her. She realizes you're not just a friend. You're a man who desires her. Pro tip, balance is key. Be strong and composite most of the time. But every now and then let your feelings slip through. That unpredictability drives her crazy. 7. Make her put effort into attracting you. Now, this one is Goldbeck House, deep down. Every woman has a natural weakness. She wants to be liked. And if you create situations where she has to work for your approval, her attraction skyrockets. Here's how it works. Let's say you casually tell her that you're into philosophy. Later, when you ask her, do you like philosophy? There are two possible outcomes. 1. She says yes. This means she's trying to impress you, even if she actually doesn't care about philosophy. And themament, she tries to win your approval. Boom, her attraction grows. 2. She says no. On the surface, this looks like a dead end. But in reality, it's just as powerful. Because when she's alone later, she'll think, wait, he likes philosophy, and I said no. Did I just lower my value in his eyes? What does he think of me now? And that mental spiral makes her think about you even more. But here's the trap most men fall into. If she says no, don't try to convince her. Don't backpedal and say, oh yeah, philosophized, that important anyway. That destroys the effect. Instead, just smile, maybe nod, and move on. The silence does the work for you. Pro tip. Give her something to chase, whether she admits it or not. Women value what they work for. When she feels she's earning your attention, her emotional investment doubles. Now we've incurred unpredictability, vulnerability, and making her chase you. But let me ask you this. What happens when you set boundaries that she can't cross? That's where weakness number 8 comes in, and it's one of the most important. 8. Set boundaries with her. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. Women are naturally drawn to men who lead. Men won't know what they want, set standards, and don't bend under pressure. And one of the most effective ways to show this is by setting boundaries. Example, you tell her, I don't like being around smoke. If she pulls out a cigarette anyway, don't sit there and tolerate it. Get up and move. That silent action speaks louder than 1,000 words. Another example. If you're planning a trip together, tell her, I don't pay for girls. We'll split the costs. And then stick to it. See, most men are afraid that if they set rules, they'll scare her away. But here's steps. When you show that you have a limits, she respects you more. When you didn't let her push past your boundaries, she sees you as strong. When you lead, she feels safe following. Pro tip. Boundaries aren't about control. They're about and self-respect is magnetic. 9. Make her realize she's not the only one. Let's be honest. Women love men who have you. If she feels like she's the only one interested in you, she can take you for granted. But if she senses escapation, even just a little, suddenly her effort to keep you. That's why when she asks the classic question, are you seeing someone else? Most guys panic and say, no, of course not. Wrong move. Instead, smile and say something playful like, yeah, there are a few candidates I'm interviewing. Let's see who gets the job. Now, what does this do? It sparks jealousy in a healthy way. It makes her see you as a man of value. It pushes her to fight harder to keep your attention. Don't overdo this or lie about having 10 girlfriends. The key is subtlety, just enough to remind her that she's not your only option. That hint alone is an auto-trigger, her competitive side. Product scarcity creates value. When she feels she could lose you, she'll invest more into keeping you. So, let's recap the 9 hidden weaknesses in women's psychology that you can use to your advantage. 1. Show contrasting personalities. Strong yet playful. Calm yet wild. 2. Talk about women who look different from her. Makihara overthink. 3. Don't be afraid to criticize. It makes her compliments valuable. 4. Mention something she's not good at. Plant seeds of self-reflection. 5. Share your own weaknesses. Vulnerability breeds empathy. 6. Show moments where you look. Prove you're not just a friend. 7. Make her put in effort to trigger her chase instinct. 8. Set boundaries. Show leadership and self-respect. 9. Remind her she's not your own. Create healthy jealousy. If you look closely, you'll notice a pattern. Every single one of these weaknesses plays on psychological triggers that women can't resist. Curiosity, empathy, approval, mystery, and competition. And the best part, none of this requires mental. These are natural behaviors you can adopt today. And on Say-O-Do, you'll notice a massive shift in the way women respond to you. So now, let me ask you this. Which one of these 9 weaknesses do you think is the most? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe to Dark Psychology, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it.